Okay, we're live. This is a very impromptu live stream.
I'm not gonna be able to read the comments that far.
You're gonna read it on your phone and live stream from this phone. Basically, doing a live stream because our data goes away in a couple of hours, or at least it resets. So we figure, what do we do with this extra data? Let's burn it up on a live stream.
It's not because you're tired of talking to me. You want to talk to other people.
You said that, not me. I didn't say that. How does it look? Are you looking?
I'm gonna try.
Okay. I can drink my beer too. It is a little cold. I'm thinking about putting on a jacket.
Okay, jacket's up there.
Not running the heater. There's two people on.
Oh, zero.
Hello, everyone. Oh, two of you.
Lunchtime. Hi, RV Life.
Hey, it's RV Life. Heading on Camper Car Joa's live stream yesterday with him. Yeah.
He's trying to find his
This
jacket.
seems kind of ridiculous to wear a huge jacket.
Why don't you just cover yourself with a blanket?
I don't know.
It's gonna be loud.
Is it?
Don't move too much.
Lunchtime. What are you eating for lunch? I want to know.
Don't say In and Out.
Yeah. What
Don't
are
say
you
Mexican
eating?
food.
What are you eating there that I can't have here?
Don't say you
That's
love
what I want to know.
a bunch because that does.
In and out.
Ah!
No. Urgh, shake the fist. Well, I'm happy for you.
Are you?
I like it
What do you like? Do you want to come down here, Luca, if you want to be in our live stream?
because I say one thing.
Okay.
can't
Well, they
hear
can't hear you.
If you want to talk, you gotta come down here.
It's Holly. Hi, Holly.
We got a bunch of hellos.
Yeah. Okay. You've
Sharon?
seen.
Hello?
Oh, Sharon's on too. Cool. Yeah, we didn't announce this one. We're just letting it rip.
So
What they
Sharon,
say.
you're eating local made sourdough bread with local goat cheese that has blueberries and honeys in it?
Oh my
You
God,
kidding?
Sharon!
You
How dare you? Oh, this is a lot less latency in this setup. I think we can. I think more or less chat.
Where'd you come from?
I could.
You crawled.
Yeah.
All right, what do you want to say? Do you like In and Out?
I like dipping my fries in my milkshake.
You guys
You can sit over here, baby. Sit right here. Make sure people can see you. Oh no, they can't.
No, go in front of it.
What about? All right. No, you got stuff on your seat. Sit on my lap then. Everybody's saying hi to Luca. Everybody's saying hi.
Hi.
Cool. Sharon says hi, of course. Maserati D says hi to Luca. Is that how you say your name? Maserati D? I don't know. Sorry if I butcher that. Ooh, okay. So, what do you guys want to know? Mats. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's easier.
Much easier. Yeah, so today is the last. Hey, Luca, somebody else said hi to you. RV Life
Hola.
has a son who is also 6. Silly, just like you.
Hola.
They only see a hand.
Aha. So I was kind of right. Mats and Maserati. So I was reading into the Maserati aspect. It was
You
the
done?
V and the D at the end that threw me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Ears behind us.
we're in Greece, and last time we did a live stream, I think we were still in right?
Yeah, so
Because we did, yeah, that's right. Oh, cool. Somebody listened to podcast number 10. That's not this last one we did. It was the how to travel in a foreign country in your own camper episode. Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad that it was helpful. This is for Caitlin. You're gonna start doing the same. Cool. Where are you from? Where are you what kind of camper, and how many of you, and what are your plans? I want to know.
I thought she was gonna start her own podcast, but maybe she's gonna start RVing in Europe.
It could be both. Hi, Luca. Our friend Holly's Q is 7 years old.
Right now.
Luca's going to be 7 in 2.5 months.
No.
No, 1.5 months. Yeah, a month and a half.
Yeah.
He'll be 7. He's going to turn 7 in Greece. So we got to figure out what to do.
He wants a scooter.
Yeah, he wants a folding kick scooter, like a razor scooter. And we saw one today in Greece.
The Intersport?
Yeah, Intersport's it's like their Big 5 Sports Authority kind of thing.
No camping section.
Okay, Caitlin is a family of 5 like us, still traveling the U.S. in an 83 Airstream motorhome.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Those are cool.
Yeah. Yeah, downsize. That's always the itch. Well, for some people. Many people want to upsize after a while. Technically, you can consider this van an upsize and a downsize.
Make up your mind.
No, it's both, really.
Okay.
Because we went from having the 4-wheel camper and the casita to a van, which is smaller overall. But it's an upsize because it's bigger than the casita, I think, inside.
Mm-hmm.
And because we only lived in the casita, and the 4-wheel camper was just my office. So yeah, feels like an upsize, but technically the overall space got smaller. But it's much better use of it for sure. Yeah. You want to be crazy and be sardines together like us. Yeah, I mean, you get used to it. What I always say is, like, you can definitely do 5 people, and if you're creative, you can maybe even do more. But the tricky thing is how many people can get seatbelts, right? So 5 people can, in this setup, can get seatbelts. Factory, you can crash tested seatbelts. So I think 5 in a Sprinter is probably max. And the way that we've got our set up, we can do 5 people, 5 adult-sized people, if we wanted to, because at some point we can turn this front thing into a bed.
Yeah, we could.
So we can still do 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom, and then like the 5th person will be sleeping across this bench at night. You just have to convert. So you can do 5 adult size. So meaning that if you have like teenage kids, you can do 5 like that, but probably not full time. We can still full time with our kids, even though they're getting bigger. Like Sharon said, she can't believe Luca's going to be 7. Me either.
Mm-mm.
I couldn't believe that Mila's going to be 10. So
I'm going to put a little link on Instagram.
Okay.
It's youtube.com mollymesh.
youtube.com/mollymesh/live. Actually, if you just go to mollymesh.com/live, I think that works. Let me check.
You check.
I'm going to check.
Hold on, everybody.
mollymesh.com/live. Yeah. No. What happened?
Wrong.
Live stream? Maybe mollymesh.com/live stream. No, why invalid response?
What's our YouTube channel? That's what I'll do.
Yeah, youtube.com. youtube.com/mollymesh. and then /live. Does that work? No. For some reason, that's not working.
All right, we'll just do Marnish.
Yeah.
Okay. All
Just
right.
/Marnish. Okay, where are we at? FCO. Hello. I don't remember having you in our live chat before. If you have, I apologize, but thank you for joining. What time is it everywhere right now? I know it's lunchtime for RV Life.
In and out.
In and out time for RV Life. Let's see here.
So last night we applied for our e-visas.
2 p.m. I'm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah, last night we got our Turkish visas. Matt's is it's 9 p.m. there in the Netherlands. Yeah. Greece has got this weird 1 hour ahead thing.
I think when we cross into Turkey in a couple of days, it'll be another hour ahead.
Really? Well, that makes sense because it's going east. Yeah, Holly's from Tahoe. I know. We know that from last time.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. I think you guys got a lot of snow. Our friends.
You guys stuck in there?
You guys know Holly? Do you follow or know the Zimmermans? They have a place in Tahoe. I don't know where. South Lake, I think. Noon there in Tahoe. Just woke up.
We wake up late.
Sounds like us. We got an early start today. We left Thessaloniki at like 2 p.m. Early start.
But we had to stop at IKEA first to eat meatballs.
Yeah. Incline Village, cool. Sharon used to live in Incline Village. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, probably not, in any of the videos. I have a scar right here on my jawline. That was from almost running into a tree skiing at Heavenly Resort. And had to go to the ski patrol came and saw that I was like hemorrhaging badly. And my friend who's actually flying into Paris to meet us in 3 weeks. We're gonna spend a couple weeks with him. He was with me. This is probably 93 or 94. 94 maybe, winter 94. And had to get stitches. I don't know how many, 13, 14 stitches or whatever. And then you go college back then, poor. We didn't have any money. So I spent all this money buying lift tickets, driving to Tahoe. After stitches, we went back skiing some more. West Shore, loads of snow. Okay, so the Zimmermans, they are they're kind of part-time travelers now.
They have an Airstream.
Yeah, they have an Airstream. He seems to know everybody, so I just assumed that, he would know you. But if you're on Instagram, you can look him up. He's got a kind of a strange
It's Adventures
hander.
of Dave and Ann. So
Yeah.
AD
Advo DNA _ Dave. ADVO DNA _ Dave. 2 screws in the left knee from skiing Rose Mountains. Ouch. Yeah, both me and Marlene have metal in our arms. Plates and screws.
Mine's from Mammoth.
Mine is from
Ventura.
asphalt and sidewalk. I wish we could make good burritos here. I really do, because just because we're craving for so much like good Mexican food and just things that we can't really get in general. I just figure, okay, we can just make our own. But the difficult part is finding the right ingredients. Like you just can't find jalapenos here. For the life of me, I can't find fresh jalapenos.
Be interesting what happens in Turkey. Like what different stuff they have there.
We were at this grocery store. I don't know if you guys remember there's a grocery chain in the U.S. It was called Alpha Beta. I don't know if they're around anymore. Maybe they got bought and got a name change. It was called Alpha Beta. I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. It's obviously like Greek alphabet, Alpha Beta. But then here in Greece, they have a grocery chain called AB, which is, I don't know if we get the irony.
Every time Dan sees it, he's screaming, Alpha Beta!
It's Alpha Beta. Let's go.
It's very
let's go shop
excited.
at Alpha Beta.
Very
Okay, but
excited.
anyways, at AB, they have the section
I'm
of...
gonna Wikipedia.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
They have this section of like Mexican ingredients, but it was like canned whole beans, chipotle, like canned roasted chipotle peppers, and pickled jalapeno peppers.
So Alpha Beta opened up in 1979 in Pomona, and then closed down in 1995. They got bought out.
It was regional.
It was bought out by 76 stores. Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, Arkansas was Jewel Osco. They kind of changed it up.
Interesting.
And then Ralph's bought them. Yeah.
I think Ralph's is regional too.
Alpha Beta got bought out by Ralph's or Food for Less.
Yeah.
In 1995.
Or, they were rebranded as Ralph's. So Ralph's and Food for Less is the same. I didn't know that.
Remember Lucky?
Yeah, Lucky became Albertsons. Lucky is where we were grocery shopping when we were going to college.
Oh, maybe a farmer's market. We haven't been to many farmer's market. Well, they have a lot of... You can't buy a lot of fruit and vegetables as much in Europe in grocery stores. Sometimes there's no fruit and vegetables at grocery stores. You have to go to a fruit and vegetable stands.
Well, there was...
Like in Albania.
That was the case once or twice.
Or the selection isn't as good as...
Well, but a lot of the grocery stores are they're more like corner stores, like the equivalent of like a 7-Eleven, but with slightly more like cupboard items, pantry items. Mm-hmm. In Montenegro, there's a grocery store, had vegetables, had pantry items, but no meat. Had a deli counter, but no chicken or pork or... I thought maybe it was like a religious thing, but I don't think it was. That particular store didn't carry any meat.
But they always have at least one full aisle of cleaning supplies. That's how it was in Mexico too. Like so many cleaning supplies.
Yeah.
Like take out like 3/4 of the cleaning supply section.
There's a lot of cleaning supplies.
Put more food
so
there.
much so that it's like it reeks when you're near it.
Yeah.
You don't even have to look. Yeah, Matt says maybe we can try to find jalapeno peppers at a farmer's market. I think that would be possible, but not probably in the winter. Because somebody would grow it, themselves and try to sell it. But you guys in the Netherlands have this sort of year-round greenhouse thing figured out. But I don't think the rest of the Europe is as advanced in sort of being able to grow stuff year-round as you guys. Hey, it's Vita.
Oh, you're
still in Split.
Go to Bacra.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh.
He's been in Split for a few days now.
Oh.
I'm guessing you're just catching up on work.
My mom texted me last night or a couple days ago. She's like, do you miss LA? Do you miss California? And I'm like, you know what? To tell you the truth, I really miss Split right now.
Yeah. You want another beer?
No, I'm fine. It's like, it's so fun, She's like, oh, why don't you miss California? I'm like, I don't know. I miss Croatia.
We miss the food in the U.S.
Yeah, I miss the food in the U.S.
We've been getting by pretty well just by sort of being, making our own items. But my whole life, I've never cooked any like Asian food just because living in the U.S. and then growing up in Taiwan, it was so easy to just go out to get good Asian food. So like soy sauce, sesame oil, like ginger, That was never, as an adult anyways. My mom always had it in her pantry. But, you know, since I have been living as an adult outside of, you know, living with my my mom and my family, that was not something that I kept, you know, in the pantry. But here we started to do that. Now we always have soy sauce. We always have oyster sauce. We have sriracha. We have sesame oil. We have ginger. We have garlic. Just in case, I gotta quickly whip up some broccoli beef for Luca, because we can't just go to Panda Express and get some broccoli beef for him, because that's his favorite.
Yeah, Sharon, we miss Rio too. Oh, Rio.
Yeah.
We miss having a dog visit us that we know every day.
Sharon wants to move to the village. Well, you know what? Marlene's mom just sent her like pencil sketches of the expansion plans they have for the village. So there will be room for you.
Yes, I turned down a beer, but
Yeah.
I'll get my own in a little bit. I don't want it to warm up. Not ready for it yet. It's so cold in here too. It won't warm up.
I'm warm now.
We had to get koozies.
Where'd you get that? Where's that from?
That's from Bando. Matches my
you bought it?
backpack.
Oh. Here's a plug for our friends. Campendium. Is this backwards? No, it's right. It's not backwards. That's our friend. That's our friend's website, Brian and Lee. They don't do YouTube, so they're not on. But anybody who uses Campendium, you can thank Brian and Lee for providing the service.
My koozie says endless summer because that's usually right. But now we're in Europe.
Hi, Marjorie.
Not the case.
Yeah, Sharon says that dog from, I'm assuming you're referring to the dog from
The last one, Flan.
Flan, from the beach, right?
He's huge with the longest
He was
legs.
really tall.
Wanted to snuggle.
Yeah. I have a couple of things that's always like lingering in the back of my mind when I see like a dog that looks pretty healthy, does pretty well, like really friendly, and just out like looking for food. Part of me thinks that he's got it figured out. If he's an actual stray, he's got it figured out. He's doing pretty well. And then the ones that don't have it figured out are more like fidgety. They're more sketched out. They don't really approach us as much unless they're like just old. And if they're old, you know, they had it figured out at some point. And the second part that I think is like, maybe this dog has an owner.
Maybe we would have stolen a dog.
Yeah.
Got arrested.
Maybe this dog's owner just kind of is happy to let this dog roam, you know? So that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to take somebody's dog. And also, it's just not, you know, the right time for us. As much as we would love to. It's like, we're storing the van for 2 weeks, you know, third week of March, and then flying to France. Then what are we going to do if we adopt a pet? Like, we got to figure out those logistics. And, like, you know,
Would that dog
at some point, we got to fly back to the U.S.
That's easier, but will that dog want a collar on him and being, you know, stuck in a van when it's been free its whole life and that's its lifestyle?
No, you can't. You can't.
We'd have to test it out. We'd have to stay in a place for like a week and see.
If we were bringing this dog back to like a house with a big yard and they can run around free, then I will feel much better about like adopting a dog and say, hey, we're going to give it a better life.
Especially a big dog like that.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll necessarily give it a better life. We will, like, from the affection and the food security standpoint, but I don't know if we'll give it a better life in like how it's able to social and what would it do when we're at a place where dogs are not allowed and, you know, we're not hanging out by the car. Do we lock it in? It can't do that.
It's going to be really hot in Europe in the summer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Vita says, check some of our Turkish campsites, and it's really bad. One open should be caravan rest. Okay, that's
Troy Town.
Oh yeah, so that's the ancient Troy town, that's before Istanbul. So
Istanbul?
Istanbul. That's before.
Can you sing that song?
That's before Constantinople. we're in this camping store. We've been camping. We left today, but for the last 7 days, we were at this kind of RV shop. They do repairs for campers, caravans. They sell supplies. They have like maybe a couple of new campers caravans that they sell, but I think mostly was used stuff that maybe they rent it or maybe they sell it. I don't know. Yeah, it was really nice. It was free. First of all, it was awesome. And it had electricity. You could fill up water. There's a bathroom. Somebody called it a Turkish style toilet, which isn't didn't have a seat. You squat over it.
A hole. Porcelain hole.
But that's the kind of toilet I had as a kid. When I went to elementary school, that's what every bathroom had. And you don't have to spend money on a infomercial or squatty potty. You automatically get the benefit.
It also had a shower there, but it was cold
water shower.
Mm-hmm. Dan had a brilliant idea to warm up water and pour it in water bottles. And then we took water bottles into the cold shower with us.
And poured over our head.
It's like, this is so nice. This is freezing out. And then we were pouring warm water bottles. And we all got showers. It was awesome.
Yeah. And because they had electricity, we were able to use like an electrical hot plate to heat up. So we didn't have to burn up our propane. But we actually did. We ran out of propane while we were there, which is perfect because we were able to fill our propane tank. They didn't have a propane fill situation there, but somebody comes by, picks up your tank, takes it away, fills it, and brings it back. So, yeah, we had our 10-pound propane tank filled for 15 euros, which isn't cheap, but it was convenient. We didn't have to give them adapters either, so they were able to figure out how to adapt it. So that was nice.
And we found out that auto gas, which is propane you can get at gas stations for your car, actually has some oil in it. So we had that was a new fact that we learned. So that's good to know.
Yeah, it's really weird though, because they call it LPG here, which is what we call it in the US, liquid propane gas, LPG. But I don't really know because obviously when you're in a country where they don't speak, where English is not the official language, why would they have liquid propane gas, right? Whatever their word for liquid, for propane, for gas would be whatever else. But, it's Europe, so there's some kind of universal terminology that they use. So all the EU has standardized, like all the stop signs look like stop signs in the US. It's an red octagonal sign with the word STOP written in it, just like the US. So obviously everybody knows the word stop. So I thought LPG is the same thing, liquid propane gas. So, and I see all these gas stations have liquid propane gas on a pump, and it's got this little, pump handle, and you just connect it to your. And a lot of the RVs here have their tank inside, but then it's plumbed to like a opening on the outside of the camper, and then they just open up, and then they stick the pump onto that, and it adapts it to that. So you will fill up your propane in your camper like you would filling up gas or diesel in your car. So that's what they all do. And a lot of the reason why these fuel stations have it is because a lot of people have converted their cars to run on propane because it's cheaper. But yeah, we thought we could just do that, but we haven't done it yet. We have the adapter to be able to do it. I just thought it was weird to be able to to take our tank out and then go up to a gas station and say, hey, fill this up with this adapter. I think a lot of people the attendants would feel suspicious. But I don't know, because I know that people from the UK, they use their absorption fridge and their stove, their heater runs off of propane, and they just use LPG pumped from the station.
The RV guy said you shouldn't use it for
fridges.
For fridges.
For absorption fridges.
Which we don't have, but we know people that have used it on their fridge. I wonder if they'll break it.
Yeah, I'll show you guys what we have. Is it right here? I think it's right here. The adapters. So we bought these. This is from the UK. It's a set of 3. I thought there were more. Maybe it's just 3.
Yeah.
It's a set of 3 brass fittings. And supposedly, by using these 3 brass fittings, we'll be able to adapt to anything in Europe and fill our own tank. So, we haven't had to use it. We filled up our propane twice since we've been in Europe. And both times, the person filling had their own adapter. So, I guess it's still nice to have it just in case. Oh, Sandra got the live stream notice. Cool. So I guess...
Ring that bell.
Is either the bell or maybe it's the notification in the app when somebody does a live stream.
Vita has 3 as well. But it's just 3. We didn't lose any yet. Yeah, Sharon, we got our fridge fixed. It wasn't our fridge that was the issue.
It was the plug. It was weird because it just suddenly one day stopped working. I remember the night before, and I was up and I looked. It was the middle of the night. I got up and I looked. I noticed that the temperature was higher than I had set it. Usually it fluctuates by 2 degrees above and below. When it goes 2 degrees above, the compressor kicks on and then cools it down until it's 2 degrees below the setting, and then it shuts off and it lets it rise 4 degrees before it turns on again. But this time I looked up, it was like 6 degrees above. And the pump wasn't turning on. So I thought that was weird. So I said, well, let's just see what happens in the morning. I went to bed, woke up in the morning, the whole thing was shut off. So I started doing some testing. I was testing everything that I could, which consisted primarily of just a power source. I tested the plug and it verified that the plug was working. But it turned out it was the plug that had gone bad. In fact, I looked at the fuse when I took it out, because when your 12-volt plug goes bad, it's usually the fuse that blows. Took out the fuse. It's a 15-amp fuse, and I looked at it, like you would. It's one of these like glass tube fuses with the metal caps on both ends, and then the conductile element in the middle. Looked at it into the lights, like it's all there. It's not blown. But I didn't have any tools to be able to do a continuity test or anything like that. So put it back in, and it was still not working. So they tried it with another plug at the RV store, and it worked. I thought that was weird. And I looked at my plug, and I thought, okay, I had cut this and spliced in like a adapter that I can unplug. Right, because I had to feed it through like a small hole. I couldn't do it with the ends being big. So I thought maybe my soldering went bad. But no, I did a continuity test for all that. It didn't go bad. It turned out it was the fuse. We tested the fuse continuity. The fuse was bad. But when you look at it under the light, you can't tell that it's bad. It was like behind the metal caps on one of the ends or something that had come detached. So it was like a defective. I've never had a fuse do that before. Either a fuse blows visibly or it's fine. So I'm not sure if the plug for some reason heated up a certain way that caused it to do that or not. So the fridge was totally fine. So we actually found that out like 4 days ago. and you know, and then I put a new fuse in it. I just for the sake of being thorough, you know, trimmed the solder ends off and resoldered it, and then, you know, made it even better, and then insulated it and put it back together. And it was working fine for the last 3 days. But yesterday, the new fridge came, and we decided to go with a new fridge anyways for a couple of reasons. It looks identical to the one that we had, but this new one, but our old one was discontinued. They don't make the same model anymore. The new one they make is identical in appearance, but it's not a dual zone. And because it's not a dual zone, it's actually a little simpler. So I feel like it's more reliable in the long run. And in the technical specs anyways, it says that it uses half the amount of power. So if that's true, I would be glad to conserve some more electricity. So yeah, the indie projects, they're on. Yeah, they got a refillable LPG. Yeah, all the camper vans built in the UK seems to use that. You know, we don't really have that kind of setup in the US, and everybody seems to use the refillable ones that you just kind of pump from the outside. Automatic shut-off valve, so you don't overfill. Works great with the adapter. That's what I mean. That's what I've always heard and seen. I don't know. The owner of the store in Greece said when you pump LPG from a fuel station, the LPG is mixed with a little bit of oil. Mm-hmm. And it's not good for using it in a propane power fridge. So I don't know how that works. We don't have that. Yeah, so I think it was a short, I don't know. The weird thing is that it worked for like 6 months, and then it didn't work for 3 weeks. And then I configured the plug and made it. It's a simple device, you know, I just don't know. So it'll work for the last 3 days. So now we're still using the same plug with a new fuse, but the new fridge comes with another DC cord. So we have both. If it happens again, I'll have a backup cord. So I'm happy about that.
And we have an AC cord too. For whatever reason we want to take our fridge out or plug it in directly, now we have that option.
Yeah, because we didn't bring our AC cord just because we don't even know if our US spec fridge would work in 240 volt.
It said only 120 on the side.
It said only 120 online. It didn't say anything on the side. Oh, this one says 100 volt to 240 volt. So this one that we have will work in US and Europe. That's good. So yeah, that's good. So we have that plug too. Sharon says hi, Mila.
Mila, come say hi. Okay, get ready for one of your jokes. What was one of your jokes you made on your comic book? Come on.
Mommy, I forgot.
You were punny. Go.
I said I don't remember.
Okay.
10 years old.
Not yet.
Not yet. I'm pretty sure your bed is up on top.
Yeah. I'm still going down here.
Yeah. The only person missing now is Ava. She needs to make an appearance.
They all eventually get off their phones. This is their phone time. This is the last day before our internet resets for the month, so it's kind of a free-for-all.
They give them the green light to burn up our data. So
they're very quiet again.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't go over, because when we're not in Croatia, it's not unlimited. We have an unlimited plan in Croatia. Yeah, S-Bar heater still on my radar. Although I'll tell you, it's less and less on my radar when it starts to get warmer. but I will know. The other thing too is like every nook and cranny of this van is storage. You know, so the Espar heater would normally go under the passenger seat in the pedestal. But we got a bunch of stuff in there.
Yeah.
So that stuff will have to go somewhere.
And next winter, we're planning to be in Spain, Portugal, and Morocco, which will be warmer than the area in Europe we're in now. So I'm guessing we won't even need a heater as much as as Eastern Europe. So
we haven't needed a heat. Well, actually, it got really cold in Thessaloniki. It snowed, if you guys saw our Instagram photo. Gumby Gugu is here. Hello, because of your note in the Instagram story.
Oh, cool. Yeah, just put a quick note.
So that worked. And I guess that link you put up there worked too.
Oh, good.
Somehow. We had to carry Luca everywhere. That's true. We have done like
as a family, it's different now.
6-7 miles of walking without much complaining.
Yeah. Before, the littlest one had to be carried. The middle one had a lot of words.
Vita's signing off. We'll see you guys in a couple days. Have fun.
Bye, Vita.
Bye-bye, says Luca. Oh, thank you, Daddy.
Last pod about... Oh, yeah. Our last pod. Gumby Gugus. Listen to our episode 11.
Oh! That was the one we did from the cave back there.
I listened to it. I always listen to it a little bit. And Marlene doesn't like listening to her to it because she doesn't like listening to her voice. But you really have to like listen for a long time to hear her talk on these episodes. It's mostly me like yammering on about whatever.
I think you yammered more because we were positioned with laying down in bed and the microphone's right here. So instead of looking at each other with the microphone between us and having more interaction, you are kind of laying down staring at the ceiling. So
I will also say that I had a couple of glasses of whiskey earlier that night.
It was very chatty.
And well, not so much. Like I think when I listen to it, maybe other people don't hear it. I hear a little bit of slur speech in my voice. But at the same time too, like when you're laying down like that and you had a couple of drinks, it felt harder to like focus and concentrate. You know, like I could just fall asleep. Like still recording. Good night. Yeah. I know. Her voice is barely there. She's got to pipe up a little bit more, right? Like I'll intentionally say something and then pause. Like this.
But I don't want to be put on the spot.
Oh, yeah, because you're going to naturally cut in.
Yeah. You need to stop talking right when I have an idea in my head. You just see like the little light bulb come up on top of my head.
You need to cut me off. You need to just say, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Marlene, you got to bring it with your ideas.
Oh, it's been brought in.
Marlene usually says, you okay with this?
No.
Marlene usually says, we can't do a podcast tonight, or we can't do a live stream right now. Like, why? I don't have any beer. So a little bit of liquid courage now and then to get her to put herself out there.
Maybe you should have shared your whiskey.
Like you're gonna drink whiskey.
7-Up.
Actually, we don't have any more whiskey.
No, he drank it all. There's so much more food cabinet now.
Episode 11.
12.
No, that was the whiskey episode in the bed. But yeah, that was about Albania. It's interesting, right? I mean, I don't know. I had on one of my recent YouTube videos, there was a conversation. Like, most people don't like to hear things that are negative about their country. You know, I have that experience too with Mexico, because obviously Mexico is a beautiful, amazing, awesome country that we love to go to, but it's got its problems for sure. Just like the U.S. The U.S. has got its problems. Every country's got its problems. You know, even, you know, the richest wealthiest, considered the most progressive country in the world have its problems. Like, I don't know, let's just put Norway in the spotlight, for example. Like, they're super expensive, first of all. And then second of all, they are a progressive, modern country that's very hip with renewable energy. They have more per capita electric cars than anybody. But you know what? They fund all of that by exporting oil to other countries. So that's a problem, That's got to be on their conscience and saying, hey, look, we all have clean air to breathe. That's because we sell our fossil fuel to other countries and then let them burn it and have them give us money. So yeah, I mean, every country's got its problems, But like specifically like Albania, somebody was saying, oh no, like, you're driving through rural Albania, it's not that poor. Albania is not that poor. Like Moldova or the Ukraine or Georgia, like all these other countries are way poor. Yeah, of course, there's way poor countries, but Albania specifically, though, there are no other countries that's in Europe that has a coastline in the Mediterranean that has as low of per capita GDP. Doesn't matter if it's going up or going down or the speed of which it's increasing. It's still like, every country, Montenegro is getting more and more popular. Croatia's gotten more expensive,
Somebody didn't like your comment. It caused a little back and forth with Dan.
Well, I mean, I just want to make sure that like somebody knows that like I don't speculate without having done my research. Like somebody just said on my last video, well, actually, Mother Teresa is Macedonian. Well, I'm like, well, no, actually, I did my research about Mother Teresa. She's ethnically Albanian, born in the Ottoman Empire in the city that is modern-day Macedonia, the capital of modern-day Macedonia. But she's ethnically Albanian, and she's considered an Albanian Indian who spent most of her life in India. So, I mean, I do my homework, so I don't just kind of blab stuff out. But of course, I get it wrong sometimes.
No, Dan, you're never wrong.
Yeah. Sharon thinks you should talk more. Open up some more, Marlene.
Thank you, Sharon. You're always so nice to us. Dan's a little too honest sometimes.
Well, I mean, I don't want to lie to people. I don't want to sugarcoat it.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't like to sugarcoat anything. We don't like to sugarcoat our lifestyle, on Instagram either. We say kind of speak our minds about things.
Diesel prices in Greece is pretty good. I don't know. It feels pretty good. I mean, the cheapest diesel we got in the EU is in Luxembourg. And I think that's kind of a well-known thing. Luxembourg has cheap fuel. But we paid $1.30 a liter, I think. Maybe close to $1.40 for like the fancy diesel. But what do you pay? What do you guys pay in the Netherlands for diesel right now? Yeah,
driving as much, so it's not as much of a shock.
I recommended that to you guys in IG. Oh yeah, Luxembourg. That's right. It was you. Well, we were driving through Luxembourg.
It was like, oh, we're so cheap now.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I totally remember that moment.
It was the perfect place to get it too, because we were running low. We were like, where should we get fuel? Oh, we can make it to Luxembourg, I think. you sometimes wish you would have kept the old van and converted it. You know what? We did convert that van. That van came as a cargo as well. So I actually had it done at this place called El Capitan Vans in Orange County. And that was a converted camper van before converted camper vans were cool. Actually, old converted camper van with the heart-shaped windows are cool.
You just called yourself old.
Of course. That's not a secret. But El Capitan Vans now make all these fancy van life Sprinter vans.
Yeah.
But back then they didn't do it. Their biggest business was like luxury coaches.
Yeah.
You know, like limos, van limos.
I don't think you regret. Like we never really camped in it, but Dan also owned a couple of VW buses from the 60s before we got the Airstream. I think you
I regret
that.
not fixing those up. But then again, like I think like our friends Bodeswell, if you guys follow them, of course there's all different kinds of reasons. They have one kid and they're in a 72 or 73.
They're gonna kill
Westie.
us if we get it wrong.
70.
I think 2.
72. I'm gonna say 72. 72 Westie. They don't watch our YouTube channel, I guess. But they only have one kid, and I think it works with 3. Bodie's pretty much an adult-sized person now. It wouldn't have worked with 3 kids.
Or we would have just stopped at 1.
Then we would have stopped at 1. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not saying that's why Jason and Angela stopped at 1. I think they were a little overwhelmed. I don't know. Like Bodie had all kinds of like allergies. So I think it was really tough for him as a kid and for them as parents. Scott and Kim from Michigan. Oh, your account is doing stuff. I didn't know that. Huh?
Where have you been, Dan?
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody have different handles and names between different social media. Let's see. 122 and 134. Yeah, in the Netherlands for diesel. That's pretty much the same. That's one thing that I feel like it's really difficult for people in poor countries. Is oil is such a commodity worldwide that the prices aren't like, it's not like, you know, this is cheaper here versus there. Oil, like gasoline and diesel or petrol, you call it here, is expensive everywhere. You know, it's cheaper in the US, but in Europe, you have such like income disparity between like, you know, the like Moldova versus Norway. Like people make so much less money, yet if they want to drive, they don't really get that big of a break in fuel prices. The only difference would be like, I know like Bolivia, Venezuela, obviously they have their problems. Locals get like local fuel prices because, you know, they have huge oil reserves. So yeah, some of those countries, they get super cheap domestic oil fuel for cheap, but worldwide it's like, you know, for Albanians to pay the same per liter price as, you know, people in the Netherlands or in Switzerland or Norway, it's crazy. And I don't even know how people can afford to drive when they only make $4,000 US a year.
Yeah.
How can you afford to fill up your car for $150? That's why everybody drives tiny little cars here, you know. Scott and Kim. Yeah, I guess is that what that's what doing stuff means? You guys are out hanging out. Well, I mean, we're doing stuff.
Yeah, we are globally feeding cats.
Yeah.
We should change our handle.
We just fed some cats tonight, as a matter of fact. Greece and Albania have been a little bit harder because there are more stray dogs. And stray dogs tend to scare stray cats away.
You missed this one.
What was I going to say? Most interesting school lesson from Albania. it was cool when we went to the archaeological museum.
Yeah, and that national park before we cross into Greece. The map.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We still have
Boutron. Mm-hmm. Olivia Hibbs. Hi, Olivia.
Hi.
Yeah, Matt says that's why they have small food, fishing cars. Yeah, totally. You know, I mean, it works on multiple levels. Small cars, fuel efficient, and also the streets are narrow, parking spaces are small, so it just works overall.
I know that dog.
Yeah.
You know what? I was just
Flan.
thinking. His name's Flan. If I adopted him, we might change his name.
Right.
I don't want to yell Flan. Flan.
Flan is a hard name to yell when he goes missing. Flan, all you hear is on. You gotta like, I don't know, like maybe most dogs are like Spot.
Yeah.
Spot. It's still a
It's really hard right now. Like if we adopted a dog at this moment, it's the hardest for us because we're going to Turkey in a couple days, and we're not going to have paperwork if we adopted that dog. And then we fly to Paris for 2 weeks.
What do we do with him?
And we have no. So
he'll become a stray dog in Turkey instead of a stray dog in Greece.
So, but then we're going from later in Athens, and when we leave Greece, I'm thinking we might just swing by. And if he happens to be on the street and I happen to open the door and he jumps in, he just might be our dog.
I think we will pass that part of Greece again.
So
on our way to Bulgaria.
But that dog is taller than me, and I'm pretty tall.
Oh, you mean when it's
standing up? Yeah.
No.
I just don't know.
Maybe if its arms are up too. Yeah.
That dog had some eyes for us.
Well, Scott and Kim want to know where we're going next. Okay, so tomorrow we're heading to the border of Greece and Turkey. And then Saturday morning when we wake up, we're planning to cross into Turkey. So I know this is technically our European travels. But yeah, we're gonna make our way into Asia a little bit. So once you go to Istanbul, you go across the bridge, which is the amazing thing about Istanbul is the city straddles 2 continents. There's a couple bridges that go across this gap that takes you to another continent. That's like mind-blowing to me. So I'm really looking forward to that. So technically we're going to Asia too, but you know, we're not going to like the Middle East or Mongolia or China or any of these other places in what most people consider Asia or Southeast Asia. We will hopefully at some point, but not while we're here. We're just gonna dabble into Turkey for a little bit, mostly Western Turkey. We're gonna go to Cappadocia. I think that's about as far east as we'll go, and then we'll come back to Greece. Then we're flying into France for a couple of weeks because our friends are meeting us there, flying in from California, meeting us there for spring break. So we'll do 2 weeks in France and then fly back to Athens and then do the whole month of April in Greece. So we'll be in Greece for a while. Right now, Greece, we're just driving through. We saw a couple of cool places.
Yeah.
We definitely took advantage of our drive through to see some places. But we'll be back to see, you know, the rest of Greece, southern Greece, and the islands. The owner of this camping store that we stayed at for this last week gave us his favorites. He's Greece, and he's full time in his caravan too. In the past,
He said he's Greece. He's Greek.
He's from Greece.
He's Greece.
He
is
Yeah.
Greece. The whole country.
He is the Greece.
Sorry.
He's John Travolta. But he gave us some of his favorite islands.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go
To Crete
check out some
for sure.
Crete
Everybody's
for sure.
like, you got to go to Crete. You need 4 weeks there. Like, that's still a bit too long.
Don Donovan, do you still travel with the urn from your dog? Yes.
Yeah, it's right here by our feet.
Yep, it's actually in a bag now because we don't have a good spot for their ashes on the dash.
Every other car we had, which was a GMC or a Ford, had
Yeah.
a flat area that we can rest.
And it had like this rubbery, silicone anti-skid
Yeah.
surface.
But everything in the Mercedes now is like tilted like that, so they're by our feet. Yoda and Rudy.
We will go back to see Rio in October.
Yeah. Dan needs to reapply for his Croatian residency card.
Hopefully not reapply, but renew.
Renew in October.
Hopefully it won't take us long.
So we'll be back in October to see Rio.
Yeah.
What are you looking
Is that
at?
missing? No, that's always like that. Okay.
We got these fairy lights from IKEA for the girls' bed, but Dan loved them so much he stole it from the kids. So now we have fairy lights. You're like, can we go back to IKEA and buy more fairy lights? Daddy
We bought other
stole
stuff.
Daddy stole our fairy lights.
We bought other stuff from IKEA. And they come in really handy, actually. Marlene likes to make fun, but she benefits. So we got these lap desks, which are great. Because I can just,
They can't see
I
it.
can work. You know these lap desks. You see them everywhere. But they're, IKEA's expensive here. Like this would be like $10 maybe in the US. But here is like $26 US, 20 euros. What?
Olivia said you gave me side eye when I was talking about the fairy lights.
Yeah, she deserved the side eye. I don't know the quality is that high resolution.
I washed my face already. I'm like, oh, the phone's blurry. Nobody's going to see.
Okay, so what's nice about this is usually we bust out our table that we made. We put it right here. And then we have to like assemble the legs and we got to set it all up. And then it becomes hard for us to go from the bench to the front and back and forth. Have to climb over. So unless we're like spending a long time at a place, we don't set that up. But now with this, the kids can eat on it. I can use it. Kids can write on it. They can draw. They can do schoolwork. And then where's the other thing?
I think I put it away.
Oh, so we got these like cafeteria trays too.
Yeah.
Which is also great because then you put the cafeteria tray on top of this, because what that gives you and this doesn't is like a raised lip all the way around.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a 7-year-old
Or
boy
crumbs.
who dribbles crumbs when he eats, then yeah, it makes cleanup a lot easier. You take his tray and you just toss it out the door.
This is what I do all day. I sweep with this horsehair brush.
Yeah.
From Home Depot.
Stole it from your
I stole
your
it from
dad.
my dad. My dad's name is Jack in English. I'm constantly sweeping like 100 times a day. But now
Sharon
that we
says,
have,
have your friend bring some from the U.S. Oh, we have him bring. He's bringing some stuff, and I can't have him bring any more things.
Dan ordered a new laptop, so
I needed a new laptop. Well, thank you, Scott and Kim. You guys have always been super supportive. I appreciate that. The regular videos, I'm trying, and also having this little like lap desk thing means that I can pull out the computer, plug in, and work on videos real quick. So that's been the last 2 videos that I've uploaded has been because of that.
Yeah.
So that helps. Cool. Videos and Instagram. The Instagram stories are always a big hit, and that's Marlene. And for those of you that don't know already, she uploads them to YouTube on her own YouTube channel.
are you promoting my channel right now?
Hey, you get very excited when you get a new subscriber.
I do. I said, Dan, I got 157, not 156 anymore.
Yeah.
So thank you for watching and the kind words.
Yeah.
We always appreciate comments, especially now we're not hanging out with anybody. It's really nice to get some interaction from people. It's probably why we're doing these live videos more, because we're not hanging out with anybody, so we can't chit chat. So it's nice. So we've been doing more of these lives on YouTube or Instagram, depending on our mood.
For the last 2 months since we left Croatia.
Yeah. It's just nice to talk to people.
We've not been in a place. We haven't been in many campgrounds, first of all. Most of them had just been parking lots because campgrounds are closed. And any campgrounds that we've been in, we've been the only people there.
RV Life just subscribed to me. 157. Yes.
Holly and Olivia both love your Instagram stories.
Thank you. Yes.
You know, I got this new camera for the vlog, right? So I got this new Sony A7 III camera for the vlog, and I love it. It's great. And I retired the old camera. And Marlene has been using this before we came to Europe. She was using this Fuji X-T10 camera, which I got by going to this conference, and it was like a gift with an amazing gift. I loved it. And then Marlene basically took it, and it became her camera, which is fine. She needed the camera. She was tired of taking pictures on her phone.
Sharing is caring.
So she was using that camera, and then all of a sudden she's like, this camera's not taking good pictures anymore. So then I was like, okay, I'm going to trade in my old camera that I'm retiring after buying the Sony, into, I forget where it was, B&H or whatever it was. Like, they give you credit. You can either get like a check in the mail, which was hard for me to get a check in the mail. I guess I could because I ended up getting other stuff. But then I said, well, let's get this like point and shoot as a backup vlog camera. And you were so adamantly against it. You're like, we don't need another camera.
I just hate having so much stuff.
We don't need another camera.
We have such
and
little
she's right.
space.
We don't need another camera.
Thank you.
But we got one. And guess who uses it now?
You?
Who has taken that camera over again?
You won the battle, but I won the war.
Yeah.
Is that what they say?
I don't know if that applies in this case. But... Oh, Sandra's been a faithful Marlene channel follower.
Oh, thank you, Sandra.
Yeah, we got to get the kids to post more videos. They always talk about it, but then they always like they don't follow through when it comes to like making videos.
Well, I always say, okay, why don't you guys work on an Instagram post or a video right now? And then they're all like, let's all take pictures of the same thing.
Yeah.
The same second.
Scott and Kim have to jam. Bye, Scott. Bye, Kim.
Bye. Thank you.
Occasional fancy vlogs. Yeah. I like doing those too. You know, it's just when I was in Mexico, daily vlogging from my phone, I'm trying to find that like perfect balance between quality and frequency, because quality is what I want, but it takes time and more effort. But frequency is what makes me happy in the long run, because then I can go back when the kids are older, because we go back regularly, look at our old videos, and so, oh my God, look how little they are. Or, look, remember where we were doing this? Remember when they used to talk like that? So I want to have documentation of all this stuff in video and audio form. So I want to be able to do more like that. But if I'm so concerned about quality and end up not making as many videos, then I lose, So I'm trying to strike a happy medium. Olivia just joined your YouTube channel too.
Oh, 158. Moving on up.
We've tried that, Sharon. We've tried to make their YouTube videos homework.
Maybe we're the ones that don't follow through, Dan.
Maybe. Wonder where they get it from. What do you guys like to do on your phones? On your Android phones? YouTube. They like to watch YouTube. Holly wants to know. Like to watch YouTube. They play Roblox. They play Minecraft.
Terraria. Terraria. Sorry.
Do you still play Terraria?
Not really.
Not really.
What else do you play?
I don't know.
Well, they use it for school too. The reason why they all got their own phones, they have phones because they're small, they can charge easily, but they don't have data plans.
Cheaper than iPads.
They're basically just small iPads, right? Because they're essentially the same thing. They can install apps. But yeah, they do their daily journal on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's an app called Day One,
Mhm.
and they write their journals on it.
You can
And they
attach a
do-
photo or a picture.
Yeah, and then they read from Libby and Overdrive
Kindle.
or Kindle. But they play games too.
Yeah, they do their math on there. They all started different coding apps. What else do they use it for?
What's your favorite YouTube channel? I know they watch.
I can tell you.
Come here.
It's
Use your
funny.
blanket.
Daddy. That's
It's
not
funny.
That's not how you say it.
It's what? How do you say it?
It's funny.
It's
Oh,
not
it's-
funny.
No.
It's Jenny.
It's Janae. What else?
Ellie Shadow Lady. That's basically
LD Shell?
LD Shadow
LD Shadow Lady.
Hmm.
That sounds like maybe should have been watching.
Yeah, that sounds like the Illuminati.
Lady.
Olivia's got to run to a class. Thank you for joining.
Thanks, Olivia.
Holly's daughter plays Minecraft, Terraria, Stardew Valley.
Oh.
Do you play that?
Yeah. No. They put it on Android phones, but it costs money.
Oh.
Oh, well, if it's not too much, we can buy it. If it's
What?
fun.
Daddy's-
Monument Valley?
Stardew Valley.
But
No,
there's
there's
both.
another one called Monument Valley.
Oh.
In Roblox. Of course you get. Holly, do you guys find that Roblox, maybe you don't keep track, but do you find that it takes up a lot of internet for some reason?
It's crazy.
I don't know why. Right? It's not streaming video or like downloading. I don't know why. Yeah, educational apps for sure. Luca does reading eggs. He does some kind of math game,
Monster Math.
Monster Math.
And he's really into Code Spark right now. And the girls are really into hopscotch for coding. So they're
Which
making
is-
their own little video games.
Yeah.
Into that right now.
Mommy,
Yeah,
can I show them the one I
like
made?
this last week.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, you can. Here, use your blanket. Oh, we have to.
Yeah,
Who's
Roblox.
using this one?
Roblox.
I'm using another one.
Mila,
What?
shake your fist angrily at Roblox
Why?
Sorry, I gotta reach.
because it uses up so much internet and battery.
Where's your thing?
What? What's going on here? She wants to come up here.
Okay, here.
Okay.
Mountain freezing.
Are you gonna sit up here with us? No.
We're live streaming. You want to comment about video games?
Wait, what did you ask? Oh yeah, can I have your phone so I can show them the
Sure.
Well, you guys can take over for a segment of the live chat, and Mommy and Daddy will go lay down.
No!
We're gonna make a whiskey podcast.
Yeah. Okay.
Where is it?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
You turn it. You gotta sit up
Yeah,
there.
you can
and
sit
turn
there.
it. No, I think she's
Sit in
gonna
my
sit
seat.
there to be closer to the camera.
Yeah, but it's okay. You can show.
I like cross you.
Hold on. Okay, hold it for a while.
What is that? Oh, that's the game you made?
Yeah,
I think Dan, you press it so you play the game.
press it.
What do I have to do?
Don't get hit.
Oh, this is like Frogger. Huh?
Except it's a cat.
I win.
What? That was quick.
I'm the best.
I could barely even get past the first car.
Yeah. Have you never played Frogger?
No, I've only
Okay, we'll have to show you Frogger.
It's called Crossy Roads. Is the new. It's a
Really?
ripoff,
Crossy Road sounds like a ripoff.
like Russian Dolls ripoff of
No!
Groundhog's Day.
Okay, so Holly's daughter likes Stampy Longhead.
I've heard of it.
Yeah. Id Shadow Lady.
What?
Is that the one you're talking about?
LD.
LD Shadow Lady.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Not Illuminati.
No.
Stacy Plays. You watch that?
Yeah.
Kurz Gesagged. Siri the biologist.
No.
Oh,
Okay, you can
we
watch
should add
that.
That sounds more educational.
Wonder Quest.
No.
Okay.
What? Trying to do this?
Yeah, Sharon wants you to make a game and sell it on the App Store.
I can't do that. I don't know how to do that.
Well,
You can figure it out.
this is why you're learning hopscotch.
Finally!
Did you make that on hopscotch or is that on?
Yeah, I watched it. I did it on Hopscotch.
And then you downloaded it on this Mama's phone. Oh no, it's only on Mama's phone.
On
Mother, I
iPhones.
need
It's only on iOS.
Oh,
Daddy.
Ava came out. Hello, Ava.
Daddy, you gotta press it.
You gotta
What is this
focus
game?
on the screen first.
Okay. Don't put out the fire.
It's backwards on the screen, but
No, but it's not in real life.
This is a hard game, so pay attention.
Oh yeah, I remember this. I remember this. Ah! I want to punch a hole in Mama's phone. I'm doing this. This is the one Ava made the other day. Did you make the same one? But how do you win? Do you ever win?
no.
I give up.
You know.
All right, Dan, your seat is back.
Okay. Kurzgesagt is a German,
Sit down over here, Dan.
or in a nutshell, animated science show. Huh.
Thank you.
Germans and their sausage words. That's actually not a sausage word. That's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's only 10 characters, 10 letters. That's not too bad.
All right, we're gonna have to write these ones down.
Yeah, take a screenshot.
Oh, good idea. Done.
Written down. Cool. Well, once we get into Turkey, we won't have internet. We'll have to go get a local SIM card again. So, we're
For
downloading now.
Fine. We're gonna stay in a couple.
Wait. Greece is an hour ahead,
Of Croatia.
right? So, does our data expire at midnight here or at 1 a.m. here?
Oh, yeah, we might be over.
No, it's 11 p.m. here. We're not over.
Oh, which is 10 p.m.
Yeah.
in Croatia. Okay.
It doesn't matter because we're going to be gone until the 20th. And then whatever data we use for February, we'll only have 10 days to go back.
What time is it? Right now it's 11 p.m.
Yeah, Greece is an hour ahead of the rest of Europe.
We should probably put the kids to bed.
Well, their normal bedtime is 10, so this is really only an hour later. But their normal bedtime is 10 in the rest of Europe, which is 10 right now. So
Yeah.
this is kind of their bedtime. So
Except we're in Turkey, people are going to be, why are your kids up till midnight? Eh.
yeah, we're gonna be in France for 2 weeks in like 20 days. So if they go to bed at 10 in Turkey, that means they're pooped out by 8 o'clock, which we don't want.
Because that means they're going to wake up early.
Yeah. We don't want them to wake up early. They do anyways. Only Ava. Ava's creeping into that teenage,
Sleeping.
let's not talk about it. We go to bed. Well, yeah, the kids go to bed, like we said. We try to get them all ready for bed at 10 p.m. And then we're all in bed at 10 p.m. And then usually there's a lot of giggling, a lot of touching, a lot of... When they all sleep in the same bed, it's like, you're touching me. What? Scoot over. But not... Luca usually is the one that starts it, but he's out like that.
Yeah.
He's like, if I take too long, like kissing them goodnight, usually Luca's out. Like in 5 minutes.
You missed your chance.
Yeah. Then the girls will kind of yammer on for a little bit, and I have to yell at them to stop. And then they'll stop. There are usually some threats involved. But then that's our time to kind of watch some like downloaded Netflix TV shows. So sometimes we don't go to bed till, you guys know how that is. You get on a little binge of YouTube show. We just watched Russian Doll. Have you guys seen Russian Doll? Any of you?
It's pretty good. And what did we watch before that? We watched what are those Russian
Mrs. Maisel.
Oh, we watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But what about the Russian show before that? With the different stories for every episode.
Oh, yeah. It was about the
Romanovs.
The Romanovs.
That was good too.
So we watched the Romanovs, then we watched the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is kind of amazing to me because the only show that I've seen her in before was the Kevin Spacey show. What was it called? House of Cards, where she played like a prostitute that you don't really hear her talk, or she's always very like upset, depressed. You know, that's her character. So how does anybody, a producer of a show like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, watch that show that she was just on and say, she'd be perfect for this chatty housewife role? But she must have killed in audition, I guess. Regular time to wake up. 9 for us.
Yeah.
9 for us, probably. The kids are usually up before we're up. So we hear them talk and do stuff for like an hour or so before we wake up. Yeah, Russian Doll is Groundhog Day. That's what everybody says. Groundhog Day, but it's
darker.
It's darker. Well, shows these days are usually darker than the movies and shows that people made in the 80s and 90s. But it's Groundhog Day with a twist, though. You know?
Don't twist it.
Yeah. I'm not going to ruin it. But I will say it's worth watching for sure. It's only 8 episodes, and they're only like 30 minutes each. So really, it's like 2 movies. You know? 4 hours. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Yeah, it's by the Gilmore Girls. Yeah. I mean, that's what Marlene said. Oh, there's a new Gilmore Girls type show. I'm like,
You downloaded it without me asking.
Well, because I was desperate and I have free internet.
So you were into it. It's good.
Yeah, I don't get the fast dialogue thing though. Like, you know who I really like is the girl that plays Susie. I thought she was really funny.
Yeah, she's really funny.
I think she's really funny, like in real life. Whereas the actress who played Mrs. Maisel isn't funny in real life. So it's kind of the opposite. You know, like in real life. I think the lady that plays Susie does Lois's voice in The Family Guy.
I don't watch that. So I don't know.
Me neither, but Game of Thrones, Walking Dead. I watched The Walking Dead. Like I loved it for a couple of seasons, and then like it wasn't convenient for me to find it and download it and watch it, and especially since Marlene doesn't want to watch it. The only time we have to watch stuff together is like after the kids go to sleep and she wants to watch something together at night, and she has no interest in The Walking Dead. No. There's an Asian show called Kingdom.
Oh, that's what they're saying. Game of Thrones plus Walking Dead is Kingdom.
Oh, I see. Huh. We haven't watched Game of Thrones, which is... So there's 2 shows that everybody raves about that we haven't seen. One is Game of Thrones, and the other one is the one about the prison in Baltimore, or the undercover cop thing in... What is that called?
Wire?
The Wire.
That's really old, though.
People love The Wire. It's so old, it's non HD. Okay. 6 episodes called Kingdom. Asian show. Is it in like a foreign language?
If I have nightmares, I'm going to send you a lot of comments.
Yeah, because Walking Dead is kind of scary at times. And Game of Thrones is definitely gory. Right? There's a lot of blood and guts, I think. South Korean. Cool. Designated Survivor. Yeah, who's the guy? Who's the guy from
Pepe D's
24?
Nuts. You know.
Yeah,
Dan's last boat was called D's Nuts. Or the boat before
it's called D's Knots.
Oh.
These Knots.
Sorry.
You know, play on word.
Okay.
Yeah, it's who's the guy from 24? I can't remember anything anymore.
It's something Sutherland? No.
Kiefer, right? Let me see. If only there was a place where I can look this stuff up. Designated survivor. Yeah. Yeah, it's Kiefer Sutherland. And what else are we watching?
We gotta catch up on Homeland and the other show with the Mad Men girl. I can't remember the name of the show.
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, gotta catch up on that.
We just saw that the final season of the Nazi show. See what I mean? Like, I'm losing my mind.
It's bedtime.
Something with the H, you know?
Something with an H.
What's that show where the Nazis won World War II?
It's called The Man in the High Castle. Yeah. Final season 4 is coming out. That's pretty good. It took me a little bit to get into that, but I like it. Of course, The Office. 12 Monkeys. Is that a show? I thought that was a movie. And what ideally it's a show that we can download, right? And Netflix, the nice thing about what's happening with like Netflix and Amazon Prime is that they're not producing a lot of their own shows. They're not just trying to license shows from like HBO or, networks, Showtime and stuff like that. So then you don't have these like international restrictions. You don't have to use a VPN. So yeah, all these shows. Yeah, Grimm. I don't know what the 100 is. There's so many shows. Fargo, the TV show. Remember, we had that downloaded and we were going to watch it, and for some reason, like it was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And when you download a show on your phone, you guys know how to download it, and then like it have a certain number of days to watch it. If you don't watch it, you have to like reauthorize your account, the download, to get it to like watch again. But then you don't have to re-download the whole thing. So I had like 2 seasons of Fargo, the TV show, downloaded, and then for some reason, like it was taken offline. I couldn't renew the download. And then just yesterday, I looked at. I can renew it now, so I have like 3 seasons of Fargo that we can watch. Hopefully that's good. What's the other one? NCIS. There's so many NCIS episodes.
And so many like versions. Not
so
just
many
one,
versions, right? Yeah. It's like Law and Order.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, we didn't finish Godless. You fell asleep during the last one. We started again.
Yeah. You know what else we got to do now? We got to either rewatch or at least finish, if not rewatch, Deadwood, because the movie's coming back. The movie's coming back though.
The movie's getting released, but we couldn't.
Yeah. They just released like a short clip of the movie.
Did it look okay?
Look awesome. So I don't know. I understand why Deadwood got canceled, because it wasn't good towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
It got boring, but there was only a few left. I think we have to finish watching them. So, okay, so I think that's it. Breaking Bad, of course.
Yeah, we watched.
I would rewatch Breaking Bad again.
And Better Call Saul. I think we're all caught up with that too.
Mm-hmm.
That's good too.
Yeah. Yeah. I would rewatch that, but at the same time, there's so many new shows nowadays, hard to like rewatch.
Yeah, when we were in New Mexico in Albuquerque, we went to a lot of the spots, the Breaking Bad spots. The last time we were there.
Yeah, that was a long time ago now.
Yeah. We're old.
Yeah. Star Trek. I was never really into Star Trek. Okay, so the 100. I didn't know anything about it. Set 97 years after nuclear war, when a spaceship housing humanity's lone survivors sends 100 juvenile delinquents back to Earth in hopes of possibly repopulating the planet. Huh. So it's kind of like us sending people to Mars, but backwards. Or is it like what's that Pixar movie with the robot?
Okay, Wall-E.
Wall-E, right? They're just kind of roaming around in spaceships in space, right? Waiting for Wall-E to clean up Earth.
Not moving our bodies.
Yeah. Getting all fat and eating buffets all day. Yeah.
Now we want to go to Vegas.
Yeah. That's an interesting concept. The premise. Maybe we'll check it out. We'll watch the pilot, see how it goes. Cool. Maybe I'll try to download all these before we actually have
like an hour left.
39 minutes to download all these. So, well, I think that's it. We're just talking about TV shows now.
Okay.
So, well, thank you guys for joining this live stream. This was fun.
Yeah, thanks for chatting with us.
Yeah. And maybe if we figure out internet in Turkey, we'll do another one like a week from now. Yeah?
Yeah.
Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Well, Ava finally makes an appearance.
She made an appearance
Ava,
earlier.
You gotta come all the way up.
She
Nope.
doesn't want to. Don't force her.
There's not enough blanket to go around.
Okay.
Luca, did you say bye?
Good
Nobody
night.
sees you.
Bye.
Lukita, come here.
Lukita.
Oh, he's
You're
scared.
scared.
Okay.
All right, he's scared. Okay.